Thank you. It is truly an honor to have this opportunity. Congratulations to the class of 2013 and your family and friends gathered here. To the students of the upper school and my colleagues, a happy almost there. So, I'm going to start by telling you students something that you don't have to know while you are in high school. What you want to do with your life. I know people will ask this question as you continue your education. It is often one of the first questions asked at college admission interviews. Adults will ask you this as a conversation starter, but you don't have to have an answer. Why not? First of all, something really big has been happening in the world's wire over the last 10 years. We have gone from a connected world to a hyper-connected world. The author Thomas Friedman wrote in a recent column that it is fascinating to him that Facebook, Twitter, 4G, iPhones, iPads, web-enabled cell phones, the cloud, Skype, and cell phone apps did not exist or were in their infancy just 10 years ago. This combination of tools and connectivity has created a global, educational, commercial, communication, and innovation platform on which, as Friedman said, people can start stuff, collaborate on stuff, learn stuff, make, and unfortunately destroy stuff with more people than ever before. So why don't you have to answer the "what do you want to do with your life" question? Because in the 4 to 12 years of education that most of you have in front of you, your options will increase dramatically. And that's the good part. However, and there always is a however, this expansion in an individual's ability to do all these things comes with one big difference. Now, more rests on you. Friedman calls this a 401k world. Now, I know that all of my econ students understand this concept, but for the rest of you, a brief explanation. Yours is a world of defined contributions, not defined benefits. You get out what you put in, and it can be compounded if you can keep up with the changes. If you are self-motivated, this is the world for you. But understand that government will be able to do less for you. Companies will do less for you. And unions cannot do as much for you. As Friedman says, just showing up will not cut it. A further problem associated with our hyper-connected world is the ease with which we become distracted. Unfortunately, we look for distractions when facing a difficult problem or an unpleasant task. And most of you carry perhaps the greatest distractor ever invented, the smartphone. We all like to talk about our ability to multitask, but remember, if you are doing two things at the same time, you are probably not doing either of them as well as you could if you were doing them separately. Even the cute kid in the AT&T commercial who waves his hands and shakes his head at the same time is less proficient when doing both. Students who say they can study better when listening to their music actually mean they are more willing to take on an unpleasant task, like studying, if they can be distracted by something they like, their music. Don't believe me? Try this sometime. Set aside a couple of hours on a weekend and sit alone and think about something important to you. You could have a paper and pen on which to write your thoughts, but nothing else. Before the first hour is up, most people will feel a strong craving for distraction. distraction. We just don't take the time to ponder, I love that word, much anymore. All of these opportunities for distraction in our hyper-connected world interfere with our opportunities to ponder. So, what kind of choices, what kind of contributions should you be making to your personal, educational 401k? Well, first of all, find out what your options are. Throughout May and June, the theme of thousands of graduation speeches is, don't give up on your dreams. You know what this means? This is probably not the best way to put it, because it implies that you are supposed to be bound by some plan you made early in your life. Computer programmers often refer to this as premature optimization, and it can be a disaster. What these speakers really mean is, don't get demoralized and don't underestimate your potential. The problem with setting a specific goal for, say, 20 years from now is that your dream job may not even exist 20 years from now, and it is likely that there will be many new and exciting opportunities available that are even more attractive. So, as you make your contributions to your future, choose those that will give you the most promising range of options at the next step. Work on things that interest you and increase your choices, and worry later about which of those opportunities you take. I read a great speech in which the author stated that instead of working back from a goal, you should work forward from promising situations. You don't necessarily have to know what you are going to do with your life. Just look at available options and choose those that will increase your opportunities. He used the concept of working upwind from your future, using the metaphor of flying a glider. If you fly the glider from upwind, you have many more options as to where you can land. Some people spend their life working downwind, struggling to find that one place that they can safely and successfully land. If that place disappears, they're out of luck. So, what does working upwind involve? Most importantly, it means to develop your talents by working on hard problems. Start with a problem that interests you, and then begin to develop a process for attacking it. Keep looking, and eventually you will find a question that makes the problem interesting. Now you're onto something. You don't have to isolate yourself, because you will begin to find others that find this question or that problem interesting. After a while, you will find that you are upwind. You have flexibility. You have options. And then you can begin to conquer. Another idea that is overused in end of school year talks is passion. And this is not to say that people don't have passion, a consuming interest in what they want to do with their lives. But perhaps a better concept is curiosity. I'm not talking about the broader and more shallow type of curiosity that we all have as kids, but the more narrow and deeper curiosity that ambitious adults develop. I read an article several years ago in which the author said that curiosity turns work into play. I pondered that when I was reading Walter Isaacson's biography of Albert Einstein. For Einstein, relativity wasn't a book of hard stuff he had to learn for an exam. It was a mystery he was trying to solve. Einstein realized that in order to do good work, what you need is great curiosity about a promising question. His critical moment was when he looked at Maxwell's equations and said, "Was die Halle Herr Hiltergat," which roughly translated means, "What the hell is going on here?" If you maintain your curiosity about the problems and questions that are out there, if you examine ways to attack those problems and questions, if you get excited about
varsity holiday or military, you will create your own opportunities in areas that interest you. So, now we get to that part at the end of your speech where the old guy gets to give the youngest some specific advice in developing your educational 401k. First, when working on problems, don't procrastinate. I know many of you like to say you work better under pressure. I say the same thing. What you really mean is you finally get to work when you are under pressure. It's most probably not better. Why not? You haven't given yourself time on it. You haven't allowed your curiosity to get into high gear. You haven't had the chance to discard acceptable solutions for really good ones, or discard really good ones for terrific ones. Second, a metaphor. When you watch a baseball game, focus on the players in the field instead of simply the flight of the ball. What I mean by this is to take into consideration all the movement and activity that takes place in preparation for the play. When you are having difficulty trying to solve a problem, step back and take a look at the big picture. Maybe something you didn't see because your focus was too narrow is the key to the solution. Third, as you develop your curiosity, as you ask questions, as you look to solve problems, continue to improve your ability to communicate, both in writing and in speaking. And by the way, this is not writing. If you want to have good friends, you have to be one. This is important, particularly if you are upwind and still don't see a good landing point. If you have been a good friend to someone, they will be there to help you redirect, to support you when you need to make changes, to help you find a good landing spot. Finally, take the time to thank the people who made a difference. You know who they are. Don't assume that you will get to it later. And it is important for them to hear that they are making a difference. Some of my greatest treasures are the thoughtful notes of thanks received from students at the end of the school year. They help me to know that I am still upward. Thank you all, and keep increasing your options.